everybody, to another edition of the Rockpile Report podcast. I'm your host, Bill, season ticket holder Drew Gear. This is my friend, Iman Azizi.
Hello.
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 Just the gentle, hi guys. How are you doing? I'm Bob Ross.
It's the Rockpile Report. It's St. Delilah.
Who's that? What, Kevin? Jesus Christ.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
What's his face? And that's Chris Kruger. We're here in the studio. I was about to make fun of Kevin Massare for being like Delilah.
Yeah.
Chris, I think, let's tear it on the fourth wall for a second. We once joked that he was the Anne Frank of podcasting.
Jesus.
No, the very first time he ever did I had Chris listen to it, and Chris goes, is he hiding from someone while he's recording this? And so I was like, that's hilarious. And we started calling him Anne Frank. Kevin, I'm sorry. You seem like a really good dude. You just talk like this a lot. And hey, we're here talking about the Buffalo Bills and some things that really happened. And I'm really excited. Iman.
Yeah.
Step it up.
All right.
Come on. Now, you've got a little whiskey in you now. Hey, in fact, can you gentlemen me?
Oh, yeah.
Guys, because we all need to raise a glass. Chris, do you have a drink in front of you?
I have an old fashioned.
All right. We all need to raise a glass and toast to the loss of a legend, the Iron Sheik.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, hey. Now,
Cheers.
Now, when you were a child, did you hate the Iron Sheik the way most people did?
Are you talking to me or Iman?
Talking to you.
This seems like a question for Iman based on nationality.
It's a build-up.
So Chris, were you anti-Iron Sheik like most people?
I mean, I never watched wrestling when he was around.
You missed the best era of wrestling.
No, well, I mean, I started watching I must have been 88.
Okay.
So he wasn't around until like 90 as a manager. I think he was a manager for Sergeant Slaughter.
You're totally wrong. He was not a manager for Sergeant Slaughter because that makes no sense, right? An Iranian guy who would come in and throw American flags on the ground.
I don't know.
Sergeant
I figured
Slaughter.
that might have made it sense because they had a whole setup for WrestleMania where Sergeant Slaughter denounced America and became an Iraqi sympathizer.
Now,
which was a great angle to do in the early 90s.
What I want you to do is I want you to wiki it right now. Go look at the Iron Sheik's resume and tell me what year he started professional wrestling. Now, Iman.
Yeah.
The Iron Sheik.
He was the only Iranian role model in America I had growing up. I mean, there was Not Without My Daughter with Sally Fields. Not a lot of Iranian heroes going on.
Yeah, and then you look at this guy, the Iron Sheik, who, not for nothing, like when you'd see
72.
Chris. So when you're like, well, I think he didn't come onto the scene until whenever I was too young.
Where in Iran's he from? Let's see if we're brothers. Or
He's
something.
he's from the nice part.
The nice part.
Born. Oh, that ain't near me.
That was, yeah.
Well, he died not too far from my parents.
Fayetteville, Georgia. 81, that dude. So like you'd see the iconic things of him holding up those big shoulder weights, those big weights, and he would do like the shaking kind of a thing with it. What you don't realize is those things are like 70 pounds a piece. He was I genuinely believe this. It's a thing that I've said before and people scoff at me. I genuinely believe he was stronger than Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he should have won.
Because he was an athlete, like a real athlete before he started wrestling. He wasn't just... Well, what was Hulk Hogan's name before he was Hulk Hogan? What names did he wrestle under? It was like...
Probably wrestled under his real name. Terry Bollea.
Terry Bollea?
I'll give it a goog.
Give it a goog. But so either way, the Iron... Like... How do you not love the Sheik?
Yeah.
He was the best heel. He would come in, the crowd would boo, and he would go, yes, and he would be so happy. And it was like Kenny Powers energy where he's like yelling at the manager going, I can use this shit. It fuels me. Put me in the game. Like that was his whole gig. He loved the hate, but he also knew that they were there paying money to see him do his art, and he was going to give them a show.
Yep.
The guy was amazing.
He went by Hulk Boulder and Terry Boulder.
Boulder? What? First of all, who wrote that? You could have written
The
that.
80s. Well, it's a play. It's got to be a play on his last name, Balea. Boulder.
Fucking mustache. I'll tell you what.
I mean, he looked like a boulder. You couldn't move him.
Yeah.
I get it.
Did you know that Hulk Hogan has an album? It's something with the Hulkamaniacs.
No, I'm not going to lie. I do remember hearing
We know
some of
Macho
those
Man's
songs.
rap album.
Macho Man had a rap album. Hulk Hogan had like anti-drug songs.
Yeah, anti-bullying.
Yeah, no bullying, no drugs. Like a One Love song.
There's a song about a dead kid that's
Jesus.
another Hulkster in heaven.
Oh my God.
Whatever the name of that.
What?
Was that a riff on Tears
Yeah.
in Heaven by Eric Clapton?
It's all songs that sound like you take a Casio keyboard and press like style play. It's really weird. It's great. My friend Tad is all about that album. So.
You know who never did that? The Iron Sheik.
Exactly. He never sold out like
The
that.
Iron Sheik never sold out. He just came out there, gave everybody a show. He was the perfect heel. And then afterwards, he was just funny.
Yep.
Like, he was just funny.
His tweets were fantastic. They kept me like motivated on Mondays.
Well, somebody was running it for him, but also it's funny to think like when he would go on Howard Stern and just be like, they'd bring up a random person, just randomly in conversation. You would go, fuck that guy. And you're like, you don't even know who it is. He goes, fuck that guy. I get that. I have that same energy. I feel you, Sheik. It's crazy that we lost another part of our childhoods. Like it's gone, and we're never going to get that back. Role model for Iman.
Yep.
Best heel in one of the best eras of wrestling ever. Chris, let's pour one out for the Sheik. Cheers.
Cheers. Why don't you put that glass of whiskey down and pull up a coupe?
Well, I couldn't toast the Sheik with this. Because then on the off chance that I did make it to the afterlife, he would just be waiting there to put me in the fucking camel clutch. But like, you toast me to that, jabroni. I must humble you. All right, so there's this cloudy pink thing. Chris just loves giving me these girly glasses. At this point, I think it's a bit. I think he tries to find the most feminine glass he possibly can to make his drinks in. Because you could just make this in a normal rocks glass, right?
I can't put it in a rocks glass per ingredient.
It looks like cotton candy.
It's not great. Like, I'm already not feeling good about this because it's cloudy. And Iman, if you look at the top of that.
Oh, yeah. It looks like a creamer that got frozen, then unfrozen at tops, and then you pour it in your milk, and it kind of turns into those little bits.
Yeah, it's not great. I don't know what this is.
I've never had it. I've never had it personally. So
I can't. It doesn't smell like anything. So now I'm really worried. Like, because whatever that is floating on top is going to just fuck it down the hatch. God.
Silence is golden.
Wow.
What is that?
Called a whiskey millionaire cocktail.
Homeless people wouldn't drink that. Fuck a millionaire. Holy shit. I could offer that to bums on the street and they would go, nah, you just I'll take $1. Like, no, don't give me that whiskey. What is that, Chris? I need to know what's in it.
It's 2 ounces of bourbon, a half ounce of lemon juice, quarter ounce of grenadine, and a half ounce of Grand Marnier, and an egg white.
Oh, the egg white. That's what's going on.
Iman,
I've never had it.
you do.
So.
I need someone else who also enjoys whiskey to back me up on just how bad that is.
Remember, like, that pink medicine you would take in 1986?
It was delicious.
It tastes like that. Like
someone took that and found a way to make it tart.
there's nothing good about this.
I've never had it. I mean,
Chris found a recipe, made it. We've finally done it. We finally beat.
I wouldn't drink that. I've never had that.
We finally beat the Chris Kruger Cocktail Challenge. The first miss in how many weeks, Chris?
Yeah,
It's been like 2 months.
you better slam that.
No,
God.
Again, I will light a fire in the room and kick over all the lights and leave.
It looks like a pink and white chalk. You like ground it up, and then just put a little whiskey on top.
Come on, dude, just slam it.
No.
Do you remember? Let me ask you this: do you remember this Macho Man Randy Savage song? It's called "Be a Man."
Be a man.
Yeah, be a man. Be a man, Hulk. Come on, don't be scared.
Oh my God.
Now that you haven't lived until you've heard an old white man say the word "scared." Come on, Drew, don't be scared. Chug it.
I mean, Iman, I have never backed down from a
I
challenge.
in one of my cocktail books, I do have a. Oh
God.
I have
That's offensive.
I have paper in my cocktail book that I handwrite notes of all the cocktails that I have tried within the cocktail book. I've never had that cocktail. I got to make sure I write down.
What you need to do
Whiskey
is
Millionaire cocktail. Don't do it.
no, just take a giant post-it note, put it on the page, and just write no with an underline. Just no. This one's cut from the team. So, guys, we're here. We're talking about a lot of things tonight. Mostly petty. It's kind of a freewheeling conversation. First of all, congrats on a solid meetup.
Oh, yeah.
Guys,
That's our third clink of the night.
the meetup. The meetup was a success. For all of you who came out, thank you. You know, everybody who cooked. Chef Valentina took, what did you say? She works 6 days a week?
Yeah.
She took her one day off to come out to the park and hang out with us.
Yep.
Como Park in Lancaster was a gorgeous day.
Yeah, it's perfect. And like the shelter was great. Like the whole little thing was easy, comfortable, right by the dog park.
I showed up late, hung over his balls.
Yep.
It was you held it down. You carried the load for everybody that day.
And I cooked a Big Green Egg event the day before for 6 hours, and it was like 600 samples. Kept things kind of packed up, and then redid it.
Jesus Christ!
It was a big old, yeah.
Blake and Rob from the Bill's Helmet Bar came down. Chris, Canadian bacon sliders.
All right.
You smoke Canadian bacon,
Okay.
and then you take the smoked Canadian bacon. There's a slaw involved and some other accoutrements, and you put it on a little brioche bun.
Did they make Caesars?
No. So they're not quite on Patrick Clear's level. But these little, like, those ham steak sliders, like Canadian bacon sliders, like, that's a thing that I want to try to replicate. Like, I got to talk to Rob. And this is why this is fun, guys, because if you can cook, like, everyone can go out there and throw a burger on the grill. If there's something that you can do and you can do it well, there's room for you in Grills Mafia. That's the whole point of these events is to be like, listen, we all...
What else was involved with it? A slaw and just the bacon on a brioche?
Oh, I don't remember because I was doing wings when he was putting that together.
So listen to the chicken Iman churned out. Like, Iman makes the best chicken in Western New York. I'm convinced of it. So what all?
I did 2 spatchcock chickens and then 20 pounds of wings. I used chimichurri from Valentina on half of them, and that was
Chef Valentina. It's called Che Garcia Chimichurri. Authentic Argentinian chimichurri. So she came to the first meetup event that we had, and she made me a sandwich that blew my mind that I still think about today. And so I said to myself, can I replicate what she made? Now, mind you, hers was because it wasn't done hungover and in mass quantities. But I was like, can I replicate her flavor? Can I get a sausage? Like, the thing is, it's chorizo argentino. It's sweet peppers, chorizo, like chorizo sausage. But everyone thinks about chorizo, they know the Mexican chorizo. Yeah. This is the Argentinian version, which is more like a fresh Polish sausage with a little bit of spice on it, which is where the chimichurri comes in handy, because then you cut that down the center with your roasted sweet peppers in a bun. You pour the chimichurri down the center of that split sausage, and you serve that. Apparently, they sell it everywhere in Argentina. So it's one of those things that I was like, I had hers, it blew my mind. I think I can get the flavors down. I'll dress it up and make a better one later. Right now, I'm just trying to get the flavor. I made one, and she said, I made a tray of them, put them out. They were gone quickly, so they must have been good. And she said to me, she goes, I'm usually bitchy to people who try to appropriate my culture. but you did that very well, and that was the biggest.
Is that because you're half Puerto Rican?
I think it's the only reason I pulled it off.
I don't think she knew that either. So.
No, she didn't know that.
Yeah.
The idea is that we're all out here. Your chimichurri wings.
Oh,
who knew chimichurri would go on wings? When it heats up, this stuff's amazing.
Yeah, because I have I'm getting to that age where it's like old man heat, where I can't eat stuff super hot. So I'm always afraid to eat that kind of raw. Cooked it up. All I did was put about 5-6 minutes of heat, and it just turned sweet. Changed the whole profile of that thing and caked on the wings. That was my favorite thing I cooked all day. That was just
chimichurri chicken wings, boys.
Yeah.
Now imagine you show up at a park in Lancaster and there's just a bunch of people hanging out. How many strangers who were just walking by and we're like, "Do you want something?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Wait, what?"
We got a lot of stare downs.
And it's like, "Look, come
Well, that's
over."
what you get for being in Cheektowaga.
Lancaster. Mark's pissed. Now Mark's pissed that you slandered his town.
Well, I showed up at 9 o'clock and Mark was already there.
Cooking on foil?
No, just a Blackstone.
Oh, he's a guy. He Blackstone. See, look at him. He talks about being down for the brand. Look at him, sell out.
There was foil there though.
There was, of course, there was. Here's what I love about this, guys. You guys all came out to hang out with us. Thank you, like the two Erics.
Oh yeah.
Tyrone Williams and Yaman Boo.
Yaman Boo.
Yaman Boo.
He was the first. Yaman Boo was the first person to buy Q42 products off the first little Squarespace website.
And he put it down as Yaman Boo. And you were like, I
was like, I know that guy on Twitter.
I know the guy on Twitter. It's cool.
Yaman Boo.
Yaman Boo.
You know what we did last week? Because I had my mom and dad were in town. You know what my dad and I did last Saturday? Because Jessica and my mom went to a baby shower, so I got to spend the day with my dad. We went to Premier Gourmet, and my dad went back to Atlanta with Q42 Kansas City and Carolina sauces, and then the brisket rub, the Kansas City rub, got the whole Q42 platter.
Which one? Did you go to the one on Maple?
What other one would I go to?
There's one in the mall.
Okay, but do they have Montuckies? No.
No.
See, Chris is a man of principle. We're for the brand here, all right? We do it for the brand.
You go to the one on Maple.
I'd agree.
So with that in mind, guys, these events that we're going to be throwing this summer and just the vibe of them, I just want you to picture this out. Like, a bunch of the guys we tailgate with showed up. They brought their friends who all had a great time. Mm-hmm. You got to watch people that we don't know show up and have an amazing time. We
had no pressure. There's the 11:30 a.m. throw the stuff in the pricker bush and get to the game.
Oh yeah, it's a tailgate with no pressure, and at the same time, what you got to see is the same dynamic that exists at our tailgate. Strangers could walk in, and it's just, hey man, you want a plate? Here's a beer. What's your name?
My South Buffalo mailman hung out all day with us. He just
You're friends with your mailman.
We are now.
We are now, because he came.
He heard about it. He's like, all right, I'll show up.
This is the idea, guys. This is what we're trying to build here.
Is your mailman Bob Gutierrez?
This weekend was a perfect example of what we wanted this thing to be. And so with that, I say, as we go forward, first of all, don't be afraid to come out.
Next one, what is it?
Let's say August 13th in Ellicott Creek. Not Ellicott. What is it? What is that park?
Oh, Ellicott Creek Park, I think.
Oh, Ellicott Creek Park. Yeah.
Is that in Tonawanda?
Yeah, around the edge.
I'm not coming.
It's around the edge.
It's right there.
I'm still not coming.
Chris, let's face it. What are you going to do? Stand around awkwardly and not talk to people?
I mean, well, I'll be at work.
No, but even if you weren't. I've seen you socialize. It's painful.
Yeah. I just want to know, do you listen to the show? How do you listen? How did you find out about it? Thank you very much.
Do they hear a buzz?
Do you hear a buzz?
Do you hear a refrigerator running in the background that's currently under Drew's right leg?
So it was a great time. It was exactly what we wanted it to be. And we're going to do more of these. It's something we're talking about. Like it's a theme. Like, I really do believe that we need more of this stuff.
Yeah.
We as fans collectively need more of this.
Are you going to get it to a in the future, will it be a once a month across the summer thing?
Don't know.
I think that's probably a goal.
It's probably
to do something
a goal
like that,
to
to
try
make
to
it a regular thing.
A May, June, July, August?
Yeah.
It's just fun watching people who don't know each other meet each other and have conversations, and then but there's no pressure. We're all just dudes hanging out around grills, having beers, doing shots. Thank you, Eric, for bringing the whiskey.
Oh, God, yeah, he brought the Old Forester 1920. Oh, that's my favorite stuff. That's where my day turned. I needed that.
No, it was a great event. And so off the back of that event, like it probably wouldn't happen. Like you and I put a lot of work into building this, but also it doesn't happen without the godfather of Grills Mafia, and that's Mr. Reid Ferguson, Bill's long snapper, who's here on the show with us tonight. Reid, how are you doing tonight?
Guys, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on.
Dude, thank you for coming. It's been a long time since I've seen you or gotten to talk to you. Like, we went out for dinner the one night at the Ridge, and I think those wings were probably pretty mediocre.
They were okay.
I
mean, they're not Iman's wings, but you know, hard to stack up. He's got a high. He set the bar extremely high.
He did. Okay, so first of all,
along with his affinity for Big Chip.
Oh my God, Iman's tweets
that's a story for another podcast, I think.
Dude, we could do together a whole podcast on Big Chip. It's hilarious. First of all, here's what I want to know from your perspective: is it cool to see the community embracing this concept, this Grills Mafia thing, both as a community building event and also as a charitable entity?
Absolutely. It's been great to see over it's been 2.5 years now. It started when I remember we kind of started first tweeting about it spring of 21 when we were here for the off season for a little bit. And then it's kind of kept going from there. But no, it's been pretty cool. Actually, it's my social stuff, like all the stuff I try and post, has parlayed into I was asked to cook dinner for a few of the guys tonight over at one of our strength coaches' house. He had a Blackstone, so I was over there, just finished up a little hibachi dinner.
Go to Twitter at SnapFlow69.
Yeah, that's right.
Go watch the video. He's wearing like the Chinese chef's hat. And I watched him flip.
I got that hat from this. I could probably say it. I did a clip. I did a little short cooking video with a chef at Wegmans last year, and it was supposed to be for their. It was like what do you eat before a game, and we kind of cooked like blackened chicken Alfredo, and it was fine. The Bills people got it all edited up into like a little 1-minute clip as a little promo video, and Wegmans never aired it. So, but the chef was nice enough to give me a chef hat with little Grills Mafia emblems on around the side of it. So that's the second time I've worn the hat, was tonight when I was acting as a hibachi chef.
And I watched you. First of all, what did you flip and who caught that in your video over on your Twitter feed?
It was the stir fry chicken, and that was about our 8th take of the video. Tyler T-Bass, I had never tried that before, so it was my first time attempting as well. I was trying to, cling the spatulas together and flip it to him, and it would either go. He was just a few feet from me, but it would either go really short or way over his head. There was no in between. So he was like, "Screw this, I'm done." He was like, "The chicken's delicious, but I'm tired of catching the chicken with my hand and then eating it." So Sam stepped in, and of course, first try. Right down the middle.
Just nailed it. So I have to ask you, from Traeger, you were a Traeger guy, now you're the Blackstone guy. At a certain point, I know you're the office aficionado. You have become the Toby to my Michael Scott, because it's just like I look at you and the way you cook and I go, I don't know why you choose to be the things that you are. You choose to cook on
That's
all
fair.
You choose to cook on all the things that drive me crazy.
That's fair. Hey, listen to me. I understand the stigma around using Traegers. I get it. But listen, you would cook on it if they sent you a free grill too.
No, that's
Damn right.
hey, listen.
And also,
Word.
some people, you specifically know exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes you don't have 8 hours to sit around and tend to a piece of meat on a open fire grill for 8 to 10 hours.
Okay.
Well,
That's
sometimes I need to put it on at 5 a.m., go back to sleep,
That's fair.
maybe run some errands, maybe go to church or something on a Sunday morning so I can have a nice pork butt to eat for dinner that night.
Fair.
And guess what?
Hey,
It doesn't taste different.
I don't want to believe you, but I kind of do, because I know you wouldn't lie about these things. Now, here's what I'll say. I just rubbed.
What's your stance against the Blackstone?
I just think that,
Because there's no.
well, you and I were actually texting about it. I just think that everything I've heard from people who have them, they do a lot of work to keep them seasoned. But I think that's a byproduct of living in Western New York. I think that's more of a Western New York problem than it is a Blackstone problem. That's just me being lazy and not wanting to re-season a giant piece of cast iron every single time I want to cook.
Fair.
So, my thing is, this past weekend, bachelor party, lake house on Cayuga Lake. It's probably about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm rubbing and scoring and trimming a pork butt. It's skin on, bone in. I'm trimming the skin off. I'm giving a barbecue dissertation in an American flag Speedo at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I have a 6-person audience, and I have everyone's undivided attention. That's
As you should.
That's how you know you're good at barbecue. I cooked it on a charcoal smoker.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm just saying, even when I'm the most busy.
What
I
did you
could be.
expect me to say there?
So, first of all, congrats on kid number 2. Congratulations. My wife has a million things she wants to text you about your child. She goes, I'll just wait till I see him. How is it being a father of 2 now and a football player and having obligations in 2 different states? Is it tough?
Definitely tough, but I'm doing everything possible to make it work on both ends. And, we're almost done here with our spring stuff. So I'll get to, go back for the summer, spend a few weeks in the blazing hot Texas sun, and then come back and get to spend a few more weeks in beautiful Rochester for camp. But it's great. I mean, the older one is, the first child is adjusting to sharing attention.
Yep.
And mom is, adjusting to tending to 2 kids at once. So it's fun though. Blakely, first child is obsessed with the new baby. So
Well, that's helpful.
that makes it a little easier.
I'm just so happy for you guys. You have no idea.
Appreciate it.
So begrudgingly, because you are an NFL football player and you're on our podcast, I mean, you and I could sit here and talk about barbecue all night, but our listeners, I mean, I feel like first of all, I don't give our listeners what they want most of the time. Iman, you're a listener.
Yeah, I don't feel like you care.
I don't care what our listeners want.
There are sometimes I'll do the plus 15, because I know you're just doing this thing. It's like next topic.
I do whatever I want, but I have to ask you at least a few football-related questions. So first of all, if we're gonna get into it,
I'll give you permission.
Is it cool to see T-Bass get a contract extension?
No.
He says no.
Of course it is.
Like
Of course it is.
knowing how close the two of you have been since he got here,
Yes.
how closely you two work, it's cool to see him get that recognition from the work you both put in.
Absolutely. It's fantastic to see. He's 100% put in the work over the years. He's made the kicks in practice. He's made the kicks in games, won us a lot of games, kept us in a lot of games.
The Ravens game and the Baltimore.
He's done a great job.
The Ravens game and the Miami game. Those are two where it's like I'm watching these going, holy shit, they're
Detroit too, yeah.
Where it's just like you're putting this whole thing on the kicker. And in some of those, like the Baltimore game, I go, you didn't have to do this. You chose to because you trusted that guy. And they trusted you, they trusted him, and that was it. They go, Reid and Bass have it down. They're going to nail this. We don't care. Bleed the
Sam too. Don't forget Sam.
Don't forget Sam.
Somebody's got to hold it for him.
Somebody's got to hold it. Hey, somebody's got to catch those snaps. You know, Nate Geary's not going to try. Yeah, that's right, coward. Nate, you're out there.
I think that reminds me. He was supposed to do it last year at camp. I think he got scared.
Yeah, I think he got scared too. I'm not gonna lie to you though.
And I hope he hears it.
Oh no, I text him about it regularly just to needle him.
Yeah.
But I feel like
that's fantastic. That makes me happier than him dropping a snap. If you don't rubbing it in his face that he didn't even attempt it last year.
If you don't think that was just clipped for Twitter, think again.
So
gonna be on Twitter.
So now here's the thing. Him getting his extension, like that's an indictment of how great you guys are as a unit. It really is. How well the three of you work. Now, the continuity of that specialist group, 1 year to the next, like he got brought in kind of abruptly. It was unfortunate circumstances. He gets brought in, fits in perfectly. It seems like everything went off without a hitch in that regard. You guys developed a relationship, and now he's back on a multi-year deal. It just seems like you're all kind of... Like, how important is that to what the specialists are doing, that the three of you have commitments long-term from this football team?
Yeah, I think, it's of utmost importance for our job to be able to perform at the highest level. And, Sam, Tyler had a great year last year, partly because of Sam. He's a great holder. Sam had a great year, all things considered, coming in week one. He showed up basically a week before the first game out in LA. And, credit to him for being a pro, 10 years in the league at that point. That paid off. He's been in a lot of tough situations. He played for 7 years in Detroit, went through a lot of ups and downs there. Denver for a couple years, same thing, a few ups and downs there. And he put himself in a good position once he got here just to manage what he could control what he could control, and he had a really strong season, which parlayed obviously into his new deal, bringing him back on a 3-year contract, I think. So, Sam's been great. He's been a fantastic addition to the room.
Before I move on from the specialist, you tweeted out that you guys won the 2023 Bills Scramble.
We absolutely did.
And you have Tyler Matakevich on your team.
We absolutely do.
Now, you love Tyler Matakevich. You love that guy.
Love him. Yes, I do.
What's funny is that next to him, you look small.
He's a big dude.
He's a big... Is Dirty Red really that big? Like, is he that big in person?
I don't know. I have to look at the picture again.
No, it's pretty funny.
I feel like right now. He's definitely more like, fit than I am. Just because I think his job
requires it.
Wait.
Are you saying
we're probably. I think we're probably way about the same.
And yet somehow he looks bigger.
He obviously uses his he uses his athletic abilities to greater advantage.
Which is fine.
What'd
you guys shoot that day?
We played the back nine at Cloverbank in Hamburg, and we won with 6 under on the back nine.
I'll never understand the game.
We won by 2 strokes.
I'll never wait. Who'd you beat? Who was the next closest team?
It was a team consisting of absolutely I know because they were playing right in front of us. It was Kyle Allen, Matt Barkley, Joe Brady, and Brandon Bean.
Oh, you beat the boss? Oh no! Oh no! That's hilarious.
Yep. And I made the putt on 18. We finished on 18. They were on 10 because it was a shotgun start, so they started a hole in front of us. They had to finish on 10, and they were watching us finish 18. And I putted in for bird to go 2 strokes up, and 10 is a par 4, so they pretty much had to hit it in 2 shots, which is extremely hard on that hole. So pretty much sealed it, but it was good to tuck that one under the belt.
Now, you're a special teams player. I've watched you almost tackle guys on kickoffs. Like, I've watched you almost recover. Like, if Mike Tolbert hadn't stolen a fumble recovery from you, you would have that to your credit. I watched him.
Yeah, I mean, I try to, as much as I try to forget about that, you and Chris are obsessed with continuing to bring that up at least 3 times a year. So I appreciate it. Kudos to you guys for your determination to keep that play alive in my brain.
What are friends for? He goes friends. Hilarious. I want to ask you a football coverage related question. What are your personal feelings on the league's tinkering with the kickoff rules as someone who's heavily involved in that play?
That's a great question. I actually am not sure that I have an opinion.
Okay.
Not because I don't have an opinion yet. Because I very much think that the way the NFL operates and the way that rosters are constructed, there are a lot of teams in this league that roster a player because of his return ability.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he plays another position a lot or not, a la Devin Hester, never really played receiver. He was always pretty much just the return guy.
Didn't they try to say he was a cornerback at one point? They were like, he's a defensive back.
Yeah,
they were like, whatever we can call him just to get him on the roster.
Exactly. You're always going to have I think it remains to be said. I wish I could give you a better answer. I don't really have a good answer yet. On an opinion.
You want to see how it develops.
I think guys are going to want to continue to give GMs and head coaches a reason to keep them on the roster and keep them paid as return guys. So I don't know if we'll see the same thing as college, where basically everybody just fair catches it. You don't see a lot of kickoff returns. But we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, realistically, when I think about this and I think about the phasing out, because to your point, there are guys who make their living off of being good returners. Yep. Nyheim Hines. Last year, that New England game, what was going through your head when you watch him return that kickoff and then he brings the second one back? Like, what's your emotions at the first jump?
The first one was shocking because it opened the game.
Yeah.
Right. You're never expecting that to happen. The second one was like, this is not happening.
This isn't real.
This isn't real. So it was just like, I know that even though they weren't back to back, it was still a little bit not a little bit, a lot of it surreal. Even given what happened 6 days prior in Cincinnati.
So now that you are the elder statesman of the specialist group, like you really are, you are the only one. Like I think I saw the stat. You're the last holdover from the Rex Ryan regime.
Technically speaking, yes. If you don't count Shaq Lawson's years, he wasn't here.
Yeah,
That's right.
So it's you two. You were the only ones who have been associated with this football team for that length of time, and you are the only one who never left. It's you. You're the old guard. Are you now, like, I don't want to say Methuselah, but are you the guy who talks to the new incoming specialists as you guys are putting this unit together over the course of the summer and trying to talk about what you're accomplishing with the changing rules and everything else? Are you looked to as kind of the guy now that you have the most tenure?
Sure, I guess a little bit.
He's very casual about it, guys. He goes, sure, I guess,
Well, I think it depends, because you've got. I was still, a couple years ago when we drafted Tyler, Steven Hauschka was still here. We had Bojo, so I was kind of like, I was obviously years younger than Steven in terms of years in the league. He was kind of the old guy in the room. But, after Tyler came in, he, credit to him, and I was going to bring this up earlier, he made a conscious effort. He would, that was during the COVID off season, so we weren't in Buffalo. But he would drive a few hours from South Carolina to my house in Atlanta. And we'd kick on the weekends, just to get those reps in. So, I guess, over the years, I would say for Tyler, to answer your question, yes, just because Steven was a little, they were in a battle. You're probably not going to look to him to help him much. I tried to bring Tyler along at that point, and then in the past few years as well. Bojo, same way, tried to bring him along. But, like the last two guys we've had in here, Matt Hawk and now Sam, Matt had been in the league the same amount of years as I had. So we kind of were, bouncing stuff off each other. He was very familiar with the league in general, with our division. He's a pro. He knows how to handle himself. And then Sam, obviously, I have been just trying to help him, and help him adjust to Buffalo, just everything Buffalo related, not so much being in the league, if that makes sense. So
no, it does.
Because he's been in the league a few years longer than I have. So, I guess, yeah, to answer your question, yes, but I think it's a nuanced situation.
Sure. 100%. Now, what I'll say is this. If we have to close on something, it's this idea that getting acclimated to the city of Buffalo, it's not easy. You're not from here. You were never from Buffalo. You came here. You unfortunately had to share an apartment with this this guy over here. And then you went on to...
We had a good time. I made sure he was able to watch the Yankees.
That's right. He's got a point.
He's got a point. But...
That's his selling point. Hey, if you want to live with Chris, he'll let you watch your favorite baseball team.
That's it. Hey, guys. He'll go above and beyond. Realistically...
He did turn me off of Subway. So credit to...
Oh, also, that's...
Credit to Chris.
He did you a boon, right?
And he also let me kick his door in.
Yeah, that was the thing.
and understood my story.
It's hilarious. I love it. So
for anybody that wants to hear that story, I think it's on the first episode of After the Snap.
True.
Chris, you edited that.
Yeah.
I think. Was it the very first episode?
Very first episode. Reid kicked my door in.
I think we titled it called like "Kicking the Door Down" or something.
Yeah, it's 100% true. That's
so for anybody that wants to go listen to it, you have to scroll back a couple years. But
well, that's it. So now, having been here for as long as you have, the fact that this Grills Mafia thing and the way it's kind of starting to build here in Buffalo, you really are, even though you're not from here, you feel like you've put some roots down here in this area, and you feel a connection to the area. Not just you, but also your teammates, and like you're helping them get acclimated. You've been acclimated. That's why it's easy for you to do that.
Absolutely.
What does it mean to know that that's being embraced in the scope of all of this?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. First off, I think that just goes without being said. But I've always wanted to figure out some way to leave my mark on this organization, whether that long-term personal goal. I'd like to set the total games played record, stuff like that, as far as team specific stuff like that. Those are some realistic goals that I've set for myself that I think that I can reach, further down the line. But as far as off the field stuff, the past couple of years have been great, being able to, set up the Grills Mafia stuff, do a lot of the, veteran charity work that I've done with the barbecue, the Think of Vet barbecue the last couple of years at First Line, and just kind of having a couple touch points throughout the year where people can see me in person and just kind of allow me to interact with them on a more personal level and hopefully make a difference that way, which is if people are still holding Grills Mafia tailgates when I'm gone, then mission accomplished.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've
got a lot of stuff coming out.
Yes.
Speaking of, we've got a lot. I don't know if you were going to bring it up. We got a lot of stuff coming. I mean, it's in the works basically right now. Prototypes are being sent out, so a lot of that stuff will be able to hopefully make it before the season, so you guys can cook with it before the first home game.
You that's the thing. It's about developing a community of people who, Iman, we've talked about this. How important is the community building aspect of what we're doing? It's
99.9.
This is what we're doing.
100%.
It's
and it's not. About the Grills Mafia thing, I have had people approach me about oh, you just ripped this off of fans, you're just using it to make a buck off of, and I'm like, that's not it at all.
Nope.
A big portion of what we're making off of just shirts right now, but soon to be a lot of grilling accessories, you name it, flags, etc. A large chunk of it, basically, Del Reid is a good friend of a lot of people in Buffalo. I love the way that he runs his business. A large chunk of what the company, the Grills Mafia, makes goes to those veteran charities and the Western New York Food Bank. Basically, we're just looking to cover the expenses for doing that, for building the brand. And I think that sometimes gets lost in sometimes gets lost. That's kind of all I wanted to say about it, but I haven't really had a outlet to say that. But
you've been under a lot of pressure
you guys,
with this whole thing.
You guys have been great ambassadors,
and that's it. And I am very happy to carry the flag and wear the flag for Grills Mafia and be the person trying to build this thing, boots on the ground. Because realistically, I'm not. Reid can tell you, Am I the first person you think of, Iman, when you talk about people who are friendly, welcoming, the most... Like, you never put me as the face of a company unless it had to do with grilling and can we stand around and drink beer and make friends with people.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's my wheelhouse. This is where we can
Face for radio.
Yeah, I have a face for...
That makes two of us. That makes two of us.
Says the guy with a perfectly sculpted...
You know who also has a face
head.
for radio?
Who's that?
Nate Geary.
Oh, yeah, no, Nate Geary. He's shot. He's shot. Him and his stupid mustache. I can't wait for you to break his fingers with that snap. But here's what I'll say. I
don't even know if it's never gonna happen.
Oh no, we're gonna guilt him into it.
If he has time to come to the Rock Power Report, he has time.
Yeah, he has time to do this. And when you do it, we will be there to film it and also celebrate his demise. What I'll say is this: I love you. I've known you since
Likewise,
way back. What I know is that I love what this thing is. This thing that you started, this Grills Mafia thing. It's real. It's tangible. And it's better than, I don't know. What else are we all doing? Nothing.
Yeah, it's like when we get together, there's a standard.
There's a standard to it. This is Bill's tailgating just on a Sunday in a park. And yet 50 people show up who don't know each other. And by the end of the day, everyone's doing shots together and it's a party. And you go, this is what it's about.
People were like,
building.
They were like, I can just show up here and hang out. I don't have to pay money to somebody.
There was people who showed up and kept asking. They were like, well, who do I pay for this? And I go, no, that's the beauty of this. You don't owe me anything. Yeah. I literally want you to be here. Because that's what
this is a Sunday afternoon without football.
Yes, there's
I kept talking.
He goes, there's no pressure.
There's no kickoff.
He goes, there's no pressure of kickoff where I have to take the leftover wings and throw them in the bushes so I can pack everything.
The 11:30 panic.
And that's it, Reid. And you've created a vehicle that everyone can unite behind in order to carry out these things. I think that's highly commendable. I love you. You are really a thoughtful person.
Love you too.
You're one of the better people. I tell you this all the time via text, but you're one of the best human beings I've ever met. It's why I like you. You're a far better human being than me. I mean, but that goes without saying. That's not hard. That's a low bar.
I appreciate that.
Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on social media and follow the Grills Mafia stuff as we all go through this?
Yep. So Grills Mafia is on Instagram and Twitter at Grills Mafia. And then personal, I'm Reid Ferguson on Instagram and Snapflow69 on Twitter. # Big Chip.
That's my secondary effort.
Guys, this has been great, but for tonight we got to get out of here. I'm Drew Gear. That's Chris Kruger. That's Iman Azizi. That's Reid Ferguson. And this has been your Rock Power Report.
# Big Grills.
# Big Grills and Big Chip.